Democrats against Republicans. That's a juvenile conversation, right? So the topic may be more mature than who's ratting in the streets, but they're both juvenile conversations to throw you off from what's really happening and what's really going on. So if you're one of these people who believes that the Democrats is better than the Republicans, or vice versa, Republicans are better than the Democrats, these are juvenile conversations. You don't understand yet. You really don't understand yet. It doesn't. Both sides have been compromised. If there is a both sides. If there even is a both sides. Maybe you get in. I don't know. I'm fully speaking off of my empirical evidence just living on this planet, right? Just a citizen from the United States. And hindsight, when I go back to study and I see that George Bush was Sr. was Bill Clinton's mentor, there's a lot. Let's start having some real conversations. Let's have a conversation today, right? There's a lot of people that are Trump, go Trump. I'm not go Trump. If he does something good, I'm like, yo, that was good. If he does something bad, I'm going to say it was bad. If Biden did something good, I say, yo, that's good. If Biden did something that was horrible, I say, yeah, that's horrible. What are you doing? And the list goes on. I don't think anyone should just be out here willy-nilly just riding with a president if he doesn't show the results. That's just stupid. What if you had an investment firm, but because it was your favorite person and they weren't yielding the proper dividends or the type of money, they weren't returning the type of money that you really wanted to see. Actually, it was in the negative. Would you still praise that person is the question. Santiago, what's good, bro? Salute to you. I'm gonna jump right in on this one right here, man. I am perplexed. I wasn't perplexed. I am perplexed that somehow we have a health and human services deputy director who has been given the director of the CDC? How? I say how because as we will read, I'll leave it up to you guys, right? I want to know how this person is more qualified than the last person. That's why I'm saying how. All right, so I got a couple of, I took notes. We'll get to the notes in a second. All right. Bear with me as the people come in. Hit the like button. Do me a favor, hit the like button as you come in as we get this show started. I want to have a conversation about things that matter and make sense. All right. Fortune magazine says new head of CDC has no training in medicine. Let's see what they say before I get busy. Now, we're all fans of Robert Kennedy, yeah? I mean, what part did Robert Kennedy have to play in this? right? It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the person. Don't do that, right? I'm not telling you to demonize the person because you're a fan of them, or you they have some likable ways, or you like, okay, I'm a fan of you. But when that outweighs their actions, and you don't want to look at what they're doing because you endorse them or you're a fan, that's going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem. You understand? So, we have, hold on, there we go. That's the guy. We're going to talk about him, don't worry about it. What part did Robert Kennedy have to do in this? Did he have any say-so? I don't know if Robert Kennedy had anything. Maybe we're going to find out tonight. Maybe this was above his head. I do believe Trump had something to do with it. But you're going to tell me in a moment, does any of this make sense? That's what you're going to tell me. Francisco Cruz. Good night. Francisco Cruz says, Viva LGBT. If that's your group, shout it out. You understand? I don't have any problem with that, Francisco. President Donald Trump has picked Jim O'Neill. So, in the first sentence, we kind of get our answer. The first sentence, we kind of get our answer. We don't know if our Robert Kennedy has anything to do with this, but this publication is saying Donald Trump handpicked him. A former investor and critic of health regulations serving under Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. to take control of the Centers for Disease and Prevention. Well, if he was critical of Robert Kennedy Jr., something tells me Robert Kennedy Jr. did not handpick this person. Following tumultuous week, which agency's directors was forced out. We'll see. We're going to find out. Let's have a great conversation tonight. I want to have a real intelligent conversation. I'm looking around the internet. None of these are like real intelligent conversations at all. It's all pointing fingers, which as we get into this story, you start to see, oh, you just don't want me to focus. This is what I've been saying to y'all the whole time. You don't want me to focus on the real important stuff. You want me out here bickering over why Democrats are better than Republicans, why the Republicans are better, and then God forbid you get into low-level stuff. I'm not about to have a conversation about somebody snitching on somebody like that. I should not be having that conversation. That's just below me. It says O'Neill, Kennedy's deputy at the Department of Health. I don't even know how you're his. I really don't know how you're his deputy either. I'm going to get into his past in a second. We'll get into Jim O'Neill's past. I don't know how he's working for Health and Human Services or the CDC. Nonetheless, it says Jim O'Neill, Kennedy's deputy at the Department of Health and Human Services, will supplement Susan Monarez, longtime government scientist who had been the CDC director for less than a month. Really? Let's talk about this. Monarez's lawyer says she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. Oh. And if you don't believe me, when we get into this guy's background, you will believe. You will believe. Hit the like button coming in, please. Uncle Andy, what's up? Dylan Birch is in the house. Dylan says it's just a pageant They act in opposition, yeah, and party together when they scam pays off. Target emoji. Target emoji. That's it. That's all it is, bro. That's all it is, sisters and brothers. Right? They want me up here arguing with you because you decided to be a homosexual. Nope. They want me up here arguing with you because of your skin color. Nope. They want me arguing with you because you said, damn Trump, we need Obama back. If that's how you feel, you're not going to trigger me into hating the people next to me, so we make so much noise that we never see what you're doing. And that's what they do. So when the racial game started to wear off, all they did is go figure out another group. They actually created a group. Wasn't even a group. Right? They didn't have enough people to be a group. They not exposed. They had enough people, obviously, but they didn't have. It wasn't like a band of of anything. It was just isolated guys and girls who said, I feel like the opposite sex, and I'm going to dress like the opposite sex. So these are mind control games, right? Because we know these are what we call abnormalities. So anytime there's an abnormality in society, somebody that's doing something that's against the grain, it's going to be talked about. That's just elementary. It's going to be talked about, and it's going to be rejected. So, because they already knew this, because they have something called think tanks, they was well prepared to champion the rejection and make you feel like you're less than a human being because you decided to question the deviancy from society. These are deviants. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Understand what I'm saying. It's in defiance of normalcy in society. Understand what I'm saying, right? Before any transgender jumps out the window, what you do, and understand, it's really your business. I only had a problem with it when they said, okay, you not upset yet? Let's see if you upset when I try to have these people talking to your kids. Of course people going to get upset. Now you had my attention, I just wasn't paying you no mind. But now I got to say something. Then they say, yes, finally. We need everybody involved. So yeah, they're going to get you involved one way or the other. And it's just to get you distracted. That's all it is. While they do stuff like this, it's going to be a good show, so hit the like button. While they do stuff like this, which I'm about to explain, and you don't have time for it because you out here talking about Young Thug snitch. How do we know the government didn't release those files so that the poor black people and poor Spanish people can have a field day with that conversation? This is what we call nigger nonsense. I don't have time for nigger nonsense. You should not have time for nigger nonsense. However, niggas got time for nigger nonsense. And then they wonder why they're always in there. These are the same people that tell me that the white man is on their back, though. The white man is on their neck. So I gotta take everything they say with a grain of salt. They spend a week, 2 weeks talk about if somebody told to the police. A lot of them not even doing crime. These niggas do 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. And they have time for low-level ass conversations. Keep it up. Keep it up. Dylan Birch, We shouldn't be going back to the days of rising when there's 1% raising tax. We need to get back to having politics. I don't know. I don't know if we could get back to having true politicians. It appears to me this is how Rome fell. This is how we have fallen. We're fallen. I think they're trying to make Israel the next. I don't know if I can't say super state, because China, in all reality, is set up to be the next superpower. If China plays its cards right, it could be the next superpower. But could it be Israel? I wouldn't be surprised. The soft power in that region is there. All they really need at this point is to be able to out-strategize everybody military-wise and economically in that area. Will they be able to do it? Military-wise, with the United States' help? Probably. Economically, it's going to have to be with the United States' help. What does Israel have? Nothing. All right, let's get into this. I want to talk about who Susan Monterez was. Who Susan Monterez was. So I'm going to open up a new tab. Do I have anything down here? Nope. So I'm going to go ahead and Google Susan Monterez, CDC. That's what she looks like. 50 years old. She looks like a natural woman. No transgender business. I didn't read this yet. She could be trans. I don't know. She don't look like it. No one's put a ring on it yet. Allegedly. She do got a couple of names. Susan Patricia Carla Monterez is an American microbiologist and public health official who served as the director of the Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. Well, being that I'm a nerd, I'm already attracted to her resume because she's intelligent. Let's keep going. First in acting capacity during January-March 2025, then as confirmed position for under a month during July and August 2025. That's crazy. Monterez's early career was as an academic microbiologist. She then served in several U.S. government positions as a science administrator, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and later Department Deputy Director of Advanced Research Projects Agencies for Health. So she worked for ARPA. This is crazy. This is crazy. No, you guys don't understand how mad this is, but you will in a second. Because as I'm listening to her resume, this is the first time I read it, by the way. This is absolute madness. We're getting rid of somebody who is obviously qualified educationally wise, obviously qualified experience wise. Obviously she passes security clearance. She's did her time. I'm gonna keep reading, but Let's go to Jim O'Neill before I go there. You may not understand why I'm perplexed. So let's go to Jim O'Neill. I already have Jimmy pulled up. Does Jimmy look like a reptilian? Yes. 1,000%. He does look reptilian. That doesn't mean anything. Now, here goes Jimmy's. His name is James O'Neill. James is an American science and technology investor. What? That's how we started this off? We started this off because that's what he is. It gets worse. Just hang in there. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if for some reason you came across my feed. Hang in there. James O'Neill is an American science and technology investor serving as the 25th U.S. Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services since 2025. This makes sense to y'all? O'Neill served in several roles as the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services during the Bush administration during 2002 and 2008. The most senior of which was Principal Associate Deputy Secretary. He subsequently was Managing Director at Clarium Capital and then Mithril Capital. He then served as CEO of SINS Research Foundation, a medical research organization focused on rejuvenation. Let's talk about his history. Let's talk about the first one, Clarium Capital. What is Clarium Capital? Clarium Capital was started in 2002 by who? Peter Thiel. Word? Before it was Clarion Capital, it was Steel Capital Management, started in 1996. And you know how they made their money primarily? They bet against the dollar. Yeah. They bet against the dollar. Clarium Capital. That's how they primarily made their money. Betting against the dollar. Making America weak again. Please don't talk to me about Democrat or Republican. These are juvenile conversations for minds that aren't developed. They treat you like you're a Neanderthal. Like you're going to be so excited to see fire. And they throw these rinky-dink topics at you. See what you're going to do now. And you eat it up all day long. And while you're over there putting all your time into that, they're swapping out heads of important departments with an obvious agenda. Why else would you get rid of a microbiologist from the CDC department with decades of experience working in government and science to put an investor in there and a technocrat that's attracted to what? Well, let's keep on going. We had 3 companies up there, didn't we? We had Clarium Capital, which I just told you about. And we also had Mithril Capital. He was the managing director of This is his resume of Mithril Capital. Well, let's get into that a little bit. Let's get into Mithril Capital a little bit. Excuse me. Mithril Capital is a venture firm co-founded by who? Peter Thiel. Not again. Yes, again. Could something be shaky here? Could something sinister be afoot? Thiel's boy, huh? PayPal Mafia, huh? Listen, one time somebody told me, yo, you don't get to the point. Want me to get to the point? They're putting the PayPal Mafia nerds in charge because they're going to implement nanotechnology with the new monetary system. But in order for them to do that, they want to use what's called scientific medicine to implement this, to make things mandatory. You thought Fauci was out. You thought Fauci was alone. That's why Fauci had that look on his face. He was being protected, not by Biden, by people that you don't know the name of, by people you probably never heard of. He may got his directive from somebody that you heard of, but this, I told you this train was leaving regardless, right? So I just did that for the people that kept on saying, yo, you don't never get straight to the point. There goes my straight to the point. But I'm still going to do my show and break it down. But if you can't see why a qualified scientist would be removed from the CDC while a technocrat who pushes scientific medicine and that's what his background is, in investments. You think he's qualified? You think that's who you going with? Anyway, let's get back. He worked for a couple of companies. The first one we found out was basically Peter Thiel's company that he started and just changed the name. Second one was another Peter Thiel company. But what did this company focus on? They focused on backing transformative growth stage tech companies with durable potential. It stood out with its token-inspired branding, long-term mindset, and conviction-backed investing. So despite its high ambitions and notable portfolio, the firm encountered internal upheaval and regulatory scrutiny in the late 2010s. Give me a second. So far, we have him working for 2 Peter Thiel companies, and then the third one they mention in his resume is Sens Research. This is the guy who was replacing the woman who was a microbiologist. He worked at Sens Research. Sens Research Foundation is a non-profit organization founded in 2009. And it was dedicated to using regenerative medicine to repair the molecular cellular damage. This is going to be the head of your new CDC. If you don't see anything sinister there, then obviously you have came to the wrong channel. This is not the channel you're supposed to be on. You're supposed to be where they're talking about nonsense somewhere. Because the play is in motion. So he was the head of this firm. They focused on regenerative medicine to repair the molecular and cellular damage that leads to aging and age-related diseases. Their strategy, named Strategies for Engineered Negligible Senescence, focus on preventing, reversing damage to maintain useful function. So, what it does sound like is that he has history with some of this new wave nanotechnology. Maybe more than the microbiologist, Susan Monarez. Maybe more than her. Now, for all the people that come over here and say, hey, bro, I thought you was Trump 2029. I would like to ask you to slow your roll, right? You don't find anything wrong with him choosing this guy over a microbiologist that had the apparent... Obviously, she knew what she was doing. She wasn't given a chance. Fortune magazine says it was mainly, she was overlooked mainly because she wouldn't compromise. That's what Fortune magazine says. It says, Monarez's lawyer says she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. So whatever they have coming down the pipeline, it's not about health, right? Which is ironic because these people have worked in the health and human services. Personally, I think once they alter your biology enough, I don't know what enough is, I think that might give them clearance to reclassify you as a Homo sapien sapien or a human being. Listen to what I'm saying, because I'm not being funny, I'm not being facetious. If you're reclassified, then the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, they don't apply to you. That's probably going to have to go to the Supreme Court. You'll probably be dead, maybe, before the decision is made, maybe, or you'll be alive. What I'm saying is it's not going to happen tomorrow. But I'm telling you what's coming down the pipeline. Why would I say that? Klaus Schwab already said that we might have to reconsider what a human being is in his book, Fourth Industrial Revolution. It's a very small book. I don't know why you haven't read it yet. Check It Out TV. What's good? Mike Wilbur's in the building. Uncle Andy's in the building. Twisted Rider 298, salute. O'Neill takes over as acting director of an agency that has been rocked by firings, resignation, efforts by Kennedy to reshape the nation's vaccine policies to match his long-standing suspicions about the safety and effectiveness of long-established shots. It's almost like President Trump is praising Robert Kennedy but undermining him softly. Just enough, right? He's giving him free rein, but then he's surrounding him by jackals. So as we get caught up with the rumors that they will ban the COVID-19 vaccine, maybe this is a play from the think tanks, right? Again, these think tanks get paid millions of dollars. If I'm one of the people in the think tank, I'm thinking, what am I bringing to the table, right? Monday morning, I'm bringing something so unconventional that it's either stupid or genius. And I say, we ban this. And you say, why are we going to ban it? We work so hard. No, because at this point, the people don't trust it. So we will gain back their trust if we ban it altogether and we find a Trojan horse. What we need is a Trojan horse. I think this could be the Trojan horse. And Health and Human Services spokesperson said Friday that O'Neill would continue to serve as deputy of the department, but did not provide details on his new role. A former associate of billionaire tech entrepreneur Peter Thiel, O'Neill previously helped run one of Thiel's investment funds and later managed several of his other projects. Those included a non-for-profit working to develop man-made islands that would float outside the U.S. territory. It's chaos going on out here. Chaos. Total chaos. How can we really keep up? How can we expect to keep up? You give straight madmen a unlimited bank account. PayPal Mafia, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. The more I just learned about how money is created, thanks to Tucker Carlson, even though I think Tucker Carlson is a Jesuit. I think Tucker Carlson is a Jesuit because I don't think you're that naive. I just don't, right? Your father was in the CIA. You claim you didn't know. I think that's horseradish. And now every show you do is spectacular. I mean, I don't know. Tucker Carlson, he comes with the heavy shows, bro. He's out here exposing everything. But I think this is a script, right? I think that's what he's supposed to do. So here we at the stage where you expose what we've been doing everywhere, monetary wise, CIA, the music industry. There's not a stone that is not unturned with him. So I do watch his show. I like his show. But I also understand your role, because I've read the Jesuit contract. So I know it is to put people out on both sides, to get us disoriented. So while we're distracted, someone is running to the top of the hill with the flag to basically say game over, right? Hit the like button as you come in. Jim O'Neill is a healthcare policy professional. I don't think anybody can accuse him of being an RFK sock puppet, said Peter Pitts, a former FDA official under Bush. O'Neill is not closely associated with Kennedy's Make America Healthy Again movement in its efforts against food dyes, fluoride, and unprocessed foods. Well, that's the thing. All of those things make sense for us to remove, right? The food dyes, you have third world, what you would call, guys would call third world countries, who have banned these because of the simple logic that they cause cancer. They're carcinogens, right? So, some of these things. The fluoride, they dent your computation skills. Ultra processed foods. Like, none of these things have been good. You have senators pushing back against what Robert Kennedy is doing. It makes no sense at all, right? So these are the people that ask for your vote every year. So maybe you shouldn't be so focused on the president, but you should be focused on who your district sends to Washington to partake in legislative activities. Because I can tell you right now, they're taking money. They're on the take. These people are taking money and they're pushing back against the removal of dyes. Like, who would do that? He was also not a major critic of public health measures during the pandemic. Unlike Food and Drug Administration Chief Marty Makary and other Trump officials, although O'Neill did use social media to criticize FDA efforts to stop the prescribing of unproven treatments, O'Neill has pushed for less regulation. Well, we know why. These people, they see a dollar bill in control at the end of the day. That's why Sam Altman he took the initiative to do a study on universal basic income before anybody really asked him to do it. It doesn't take a psychic or a seer or a prophet to really see where things are going. Sidebar, while we're there, I might as well, this is a great segue to go into what my Cash App is. My Cash App is The Prophet Saladin. Not profit as in money, but profit as in seer. Right? So it's TheProphetSaladin. The goal tonight is $50. That would be the goal. We have to start having goals when I do my show. Sam Altman, WorldCoin. You should invest in it. I'm not saying don't invest, because I don't think that you can really stop this train from rolling. However, no one asked him. He just took initiative to go ahead and do a study for 3 years on universal basic income. Why would he do that? Why would he spend $14 million of his own money? Because he knows what's about to come down the pipeline. It's really simple. So all good, Uncle Andy. James O'Neill is an American science and technology investor serving as the 25th Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, Yale University and UC. The cream one. Why'd you write that? You wasted your time writing that? You must have came here late, bro. I already wrote that. I already said that. I'm disappointed you wrote all of that out. And just because he is all of those things doesn't mean he's more qualified than who was already in position. Many of us probably would think that he is not qualified. But he is thinking more like a money manager. The money changes. O'Neill has long-standing ties to the libertarian wing of the Republican Party, including Thiel, one of Trump's leading supporters from Silicon Valley. Like Thiel, O'Neill has expressed disdain for many parts of the federal bureaucracy, saying it hinders advance in medicine, technology, and other areas. Does it hinder advance, or does it protect us from overzealous, ambitious people like yourself? There you go, Uncle Andy. They said that the federal bureaucracy, the current federal bureaucracy, the way things are going, is what they're saying is, yeah, this hinders science and medicine and technology. No, because you guys don't seem to care about lives being hurt. The way they see things, is just a part of life, right? Some people are gonna have to be sacrificed, right? Millions of people not only died from the last escapade, but were hurt, maimed. Not a drop, nothing. Not from these South Africans. Here's a question. Trump, how many people are you going to owe money to and owe favors to, bro? Right? You don't owe money to them. You owe favors to them, which is dangerous. If you owed money to them, you could just pay them back money. But they don't want money. They want the favor. And you owe the worst people on earth favors, bro. You owe Zionists and rambunctious, unethical, unmoral technocrats money, favors. That's a bad position to be in. It's a bad position to be in. I'm going to go back to Susan for a second. So if you're just tapping in, we're finding out that Susan Monterez, who only was the director for the CDC for like a month, was released from her position because she would not compromise the department in ways that people that Donald Trump owed favors to would like. She's a microbiologist, unlike James O'Neill. She has served as a science administrator in the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Advanced Research Projects Agencies for Health. It sounds like to me like she is the person that we're supposed to have. I don't know about everybody else. It just sounds like that's the person that we're supposed to have there. Let me get into her early life a little bit. Monterez grew up in rural Wisconsin. According to Monterez, her father was a dairy farmer who had to sell his farm after a disease outbreak in his herd and later became a police officer, while his mother worked in various factory and clerical jobs and as a librarian. Monterez completed a bachelor's of science in microbiology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then her PhD in microbiology and immunology in 2003 at the same institution. Her PhD research advisor was Donna Polnock, and her research focused on developing technologies to prevent, diagnose, and treat infectious diseases, particularly those affecting low and middle income countries. This definitely sounds like the person we were supposed to have in there. I don't know what. Uncle Andy says she's top tier. She's definitely top tier, bro. Definitely top tier. For the life of me, I don't understand how a competent... These are the same people this is the guy that's running the country, right? How do you make a decision like this, man, with a straight face? All right, so what's the plan? Well, I think the plan is laid out. They don't really want someone in there for your health. That's for damn sure. You can see that. I think you can see that. So that means that they have something else more sinister in play, in mind. I already told you. Klaus Schwab already told. I don't know how many times they're going to tell you their plans is not a conspiracy. It's only a conspiracy because they have not said their plan yet. I already know their plan. I'm telling you the plan. It is to hijack your body. They're going to pass it off as if if they really cared about you. I don't even know. I don't even need to finish that. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. That's a fact. If they really, really cared about you, they would have made sure that the solution that they gave in 2021 was actually safe. They didn't care then. They didn't care if it was safe or not. Millions died. If they cared about you, they would not have protected the person whose fault it was. All right, the cream one is back. It sounds like he's going to have something intelligent to say this time, even if it's in opposition of what we're thinking. Let's go. She didn't want to do her job. Okay, that sounds false. And people that don't want to do their job get fired. That sounds false. When you argue and not pay attention, you get fired. Her attitude got her fired. Well, I would like to say you're probably a troll. That's number one. I thought you had... Here's the thing, the cream one. Your name is the cream one. And it's hard to take you serious versus her lawyers, who obviously went to several schools and had several educations just to become a lawyer. She probably has some of the best lawyers. They say something different. They say the exact opposite. Who am I going to believe? These Esquires or someone called the cream one on the internet? I'm going to go with her lawyers. Her lawyers said she didn't want to she didn't want to compromise. She didn't want to make decisions that were unsafe and unethical, and signed off on science that was quite dangerous. Yeah, I'm gonna go with them. The silent one says, "Do you take me serious?" I usually take you serious, the silent one. I usually take you serious. The topic is about the Trump administration replacing the CDC director, who was a microbiologist with over 2 decades of experience working in government as a scientist. Not just a microbiologist, but a doctor of science. And she was replaced with a technocrat that worked for several Peter Thiel projects. Some of them that was under fire for mismanaging funds. And his main highlighted accomplishments was working for a non-for-profit that focused on the rejuvenation of molecular cells. His resume does not match with the doctors at all. So what we want to know is, why would one of Peter Thiel's flunkies be put in such a important role? That's what we want to know. So there it is. Silent one says, pretty much they replaced the professional with a bunch of numbnuts. That's it. That's it. So now we're talking about, why would they do that unless they had something in mind, something sinister afoot? What do they have in mind? And my idea that they have in mind is no different than what they had in mind when they offered everybody the shot. Right? What was the big to-do in the shot? The big to-do was the nanotechnology that they was never going to tell you about, and they don't have to tell you about because the Fair Trade Act, right? But the nanotechnology actually spoke for itself. It was called messenger RNA, mRNA. It did not operate as a traditional vaccine. It was a new science medicine, if you want to call it that. I can't call it that with a straight face, because medicine's supposed to cure, and this did the opposite of that. So there was some science involved, and I dare say some technology, because what the shot did was actually, instead of taking some of the dead virus that you wanted it to eliminate, so it takes the dead virus and lets your body get used to it, right? So you're familiar with it, so it knows how to defeat it. No, it didn't even take some of the dead virus. It just told you, it gave your cells instructions on how to create antigens. But it was very new. It was very, they didn't have it under control. It was experimental. That's what it was. It was experimental. But to just put that out there on the world, millions of people, they knew people was going to die. People did die. Millions of people died. And it was a win-win, because it was like, okay, well, at least we reduced the population, and at the same time, we know that it doesn't work, right? Like we thought. That doesn't mean they're going to stop. It just means they got to go back to the drawing board. It means they've been trying this on mice, and they were so rambunctious because it was some asshole that was saying, "Oh, it's definitely gonna." He's thinking about the profit. He's thinking about his legacy, him being the first one to one of the pioneers. You're not Dr. Peter McCullough, bro. He is a pioneer in what you're trying to push. And he's not pushing it. That should tell you something. People act like Dr. Peter McCullough is just some guy they found on the curb. What are you talking about? He's one of the people why it's even here. And he's not jacking the movement. Because we're dealing with money changes. That's the problem. I don't think capitalism is a problem at all. You should have free trade and the ability to make money without just being forced to share it with anybody and everybody. Right? However, they're trying to make it seem like these people down here on this planet are random people who just became successful out of nowhere. That's because they don't want you to really know who these people are. They don't really want you to know their past. They don't want you to know who their grandfathers and great-grandfathers were. So majority of these people are not random people at all who just worked hard and came up. That's not how none of this is going down. Jeff Bezos, he started a company in his garage. What are you talking about? His grandfather was in the Department of Defense in the Advanced Projects Division. What are you talking about? You think he just happened to knock it off? That's for most of these guys. Nothing is by happenstance. From the Rockefellers on up, it's not by happenstance. History keeps being rewritten, so it's harder for you to find out the truth. Every century, definitely every 2 centuries, they just keep rewriting history. The Zionists don't even wait for a different century. They just out here telling a different story as I speak. As I'm doing this video right now, there's a Zionist teaching a class that the Ashkenazi Jews was the original people of that land. Forgetting the fact that they wrote a Bible saying that they came from Ur of the Chaldees, which is basically Iraq. And they was told by their God, Yahweh, to go and terrorize the people of Canaan, Palestine, back then. Also forgetting the fact that these people are not related to the people of Judea. It doesn't matter though. They're telling their story, right? I just say that to say you have people that will tell you a bold-faced lie with a straight face. This is so random. I see people walking around with kids. What the fuck is going on here? Is he her pimp? And they're using the kid to make it seem less inconspicuous? I thought they came out of a truck. They just walk in the lot. So, one of the things about me is I get to see a lot of America. There's a lot of homelessness in America. A lot of homelessness in America. And just today, I was giving thanks for me being able to have the ability to make money. Because I seen so many homeless people last night as I was riding my scooter through the streets. And I thought about them, and I thought about how many jobs are about to be taken away because of automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence. Now, on top of that, you have not just the technocrats, but the technocrats are pretty much obviously taking over. I say that I don't know what's going on with Trump, but he owes people's favors. He's doing, this is a favor that he's doing for Peter Thiel. Let's just call it what it is. So he puts this guy, the head of the CDC, which is totally absurd. And you got to wonder, what do you have planned for us if you're not even qualified to really be in that position? But you do have a tech background, you do have a nanotechnology background, you do have a investor background. What do you have planned for us, man? And I think the short answer is some type of mandated serum of some type of what they're going to call science, medical science. What they're going to call medical science. I'm going to read the comments in a second. Mobile's in the building. The cream one. What are you talking about, the cream one? I'm going to get back to you in a second. Hold on. Cream one redacted his statement, then he came back and he said, why would anybody care whose great grandparents were, whatever? And it's, history has been rewritten. How would you know? Because someone tells them. I'm not in the mood for your trolling right now, the cream one. Thank you. Yeah, Uncle Andy. Lot lizards, but I think she was being pimped out. Alright, let's get back to what's going down. Cream one, don't get banned from this channel. I think you're already banned from this channel. You're just here under a new name. I don't understand how you guys have time to troll. I don't know why you come over here to troll me. You guys miss me so much that you come over here to troll me. It's crazy. So, let's understand where this is going. Where is this going? Where this is going is to the intrusion of your anatomy. The control, not just the intrusion, but the control and intrusion. The intrusion and control, should I say. The intrusion and control of your anatomy. That's where this is going. They have already figured out how to edit your DNA, how to write programs, how to download digital instruction to your DNA. The main thing is how to silence your DNA. right? So a lot of certain words I want you to look out for, phrases, gene therapy, things that sound like it should be good for you, but then turns out to be sinister, to say the least. So this is why, listen, if they didn't have all these distractions, then more people would be focused on this. So the whole thing is to have several plays going where people are always distracted, right? So not only that, anybody that's talking serious like me, we don't even let their channel get off the ground. We don't even let their channel get off the ground. It's wicked out here. It is wicked out here. It is wicked out here. I have never been in a place where there was more prostitution. From junkies. Not like the 80s and the 90s from Hunts Point. And they'd be out there in fur coats with nothing underneath. This is just The Walking Dead, which, by the way, is what I'm really talking about. Because I'm talking about the intrusion of your anatomy. So why would they want to intrude? What do you think? Do you think they're going to stop at gene silencing? I'm just talking slowly so that you understand what I'm saying and how detrimental it is, how serious this is. They're not going to stop at just silencing your genes, right? So if Peter Thiel is coming from this direction and his homeboy Elon Musk is going to come from the other direction of intruding into your mind. Now you think that he really needs that flob, that big old clumsy flob, to get Neuralink to work, which is not the case at all. I'm telling you right now. If they get legal access to your mind and your anatomy, oof. Well, now they can start wiping memories out, huh? And again, that's where this is headed. As science, as crazy as this sounds, right? This is all headed there. This is all headed to somewhere that just sounds like some type of sci-fi film. But it's not going to be a sci-fi film. It's going to be real life. This is really, it is real life right now. It's not going to be real life. This is what these people are trying to do as we speak. Shout out to this guy in the building. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys that I'm watching a new show. I'm about to finish. It's called Severance. Anything they want you to know, they're going to put in the show or movie. Now, I still can't get over The Walking Dead. I watched several seasons of The Walking Dead all the way up until the point, Carl was Up until the point Rick left, right? Because that was some BS. They got rid of Carl. They wrote Carl out the story because he wanted to go to college. So they just wrote him out. Okay. Jackass, executive producer, human being, foul ass human being. But what did we expect from these demons in Hollywood? Right? What I'm telling you is I was a fan of The Walking Dead up until that point. So I watched enough seasons to know that it was written in the storyline. Again, it was a virus. The CDC knew about it. I Am Legend. The government said it was a virus that they released and they got to fix it. Right? But hey, that's fictional. That's not real. Let's talk about something that's real. What's real is Bill Gates said there will be more pandemics. That's real. So I think we started off very light, COVID-19, but I think they're going to amp it up. It has to be. You see, at first, it looks like they didn't know whether to decide to drop Ebola or something else. But Ebola was too aggressive. So they scaled back on that real quick. My theory is that they're gonna Ebola attack the skin and all this other stuff, right? I don't think that's what they really want. They didn't want something that detriment to break out to where it's just they can't even control it, right? Not if even they wanted to scale it back. But it will be something, but something more in the realm of rabies, rabonic. It's not a word, but something along those lines. And now you're blocked. And now you're blocked. Mobile says bubonic plague case was out in Arizona a month or two ago. Get out of here. It's crazy. I didn't have time, Uncle Andy. Just when they thought I was predictable, right? Everybody thought I was going to roast them. Nope. Nope. Now, I brought up The Walking Dead because there's so many Walking Deads. All of them have the same story. Even World War Z. So I do think it's going to be something that takes over the mentality of and if you look at The Walking Dead, it's very clear that these type of zombies can exist, right? Because they're alive, but they're not alive. So, which means, listen to me. Let's walk down the road with me for a second on this. It appears that much of the communication within their body is probably being silenced, right? But there is some electrical activity going on in their brain. So they're alive, but the programming from the virus, they're not insane. They're not regular people. They're just alive and non-responsive at the same time. Remember, this whole COVID-19 thing solution, the vaccination, it didn't work because it told the body to create a defense system from scratch, which happened to be the spike protein. But it replicated aggressively and ended up hurting and killing people. There you go. There you go, Uncle Adam. You got a couple. Now, what we do know, and we know this from the move that they just made, and Donald Trump is Donald Trump on your side, right? You call yourself a Trumper, you get up here and you say Trump 4 more years. Well, he just put somebody in charge of your health that's not even qualified to tell you what to do, right? You have a better chance of going to the guy at the bar, at your local bar, and him telling you what to do than this guy. And he put him in charge. That seems like sabotage to me. Doesn't sound like he has your best interest. I don't know why you're out here talking about 4 more years. Doesn't sound like he has your best interest. When people start doing funny things, man, like giving away all our money to countries that are the size of New Jersey and all they do is cause mischief, I don't know, man. Don't sound like. We got a lot of bots in here tonight. What the hell is going on? Or is this just one person that just keeps creating YouTube accounts and coming back? That's wild. Yo, to have that type of determination on my show is impressive. Because there's millions of YouTube shows you could go on. This guy keeps getting booted off of my show and coming back. Damn. If only you could use your powers for good. If only you could use your powers for good. Give me a second. I need to know why my truck is moving. I'm around zombies myself, and I don't know if somebody's trying to steal something out of my truck. What the hell is going on here? Oh, there's somebody behind me. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if he was moving or what was the case. All right. I think you guys get the gist. I'm deciding, there's some audio I wanted you guys to hear. How many people on here? There's 9 people on here. Yeah, maybe. So the other night I was speaking about the electromagnetic field that is blanketed all across the globe, and how it affects us. But I think I'm going to do a whole nother show going back into that, We'll call it something like sacred geometry or something like that. Right? As far as this show here, I think we're done here. At the end of the day, it's very cut and dry. The person who is qualified for the job was fired because they didn't want to put Americans at risk by doing things that just wasn't in their best interest for human beings. That person was replaced with somebody who was a do boy for Peter Thiel many years. He was a do boy then. I don't expect him to be nothing but a do boy now. So this had to make Peter Thiel's day. Absolutely made his day for Trump to follow up on his promise, right? For Trump to repay his, Peter Thiel and them invested in Trump's campaign, and this is how I would reward you, right? But this is not a small reward, bro. Like, if you think the director of CDC is a small reward, or just something that is so insignificant that you can just give it to some random willy-nilly technocrat who's failed at other companies a couple of times, then that shows us how much we were fooled into thinking he meant make America great again. Or maybe he did mean make America great again and then realized America could never be great again, right? The joke is on me. The joke is on me for being so reminiscent of a time that's never coming back. All of that made in America, that's never, we're never going to see that again. Never. It's never, no matter what they say. They tried everything. Yo, we're going to bring factories back. No one's coming here to work for these prices. The only way they could bring factories back to the United States and these companies actually say, okay, we'll come back, is if they come back with a bunch of foreigners, right? They don't want to hear about no tax breaks. They don't want to hear about none of that. So they tried everything in the book. It didn't work. And I think at this point, Trump's like, it's not, I'm living a lie, right? It's not going to work. This guy says, can it get any worse though? Yes. Yes. This guy, when I say The Walking Dead, I'm not being funny. Right? I'm not being over dramatic. None of those things. When you understand what they could do with what they're calling gene therapy, that's not a small. Gene therapy is not, I guess it's the name, right? Just like spike protein. When you say spike protein, it sounds like the last word sounds good. So psychology-wise, if it's the last thing you hear sounds more or less positive, that's how you're going to take it. So when you hear gene therapy, it don't sound that bad. Until you realize, what can you do? What falls under gene therapy? Gene regulation, gene silencing. None of these things are good. Gene regulation? gene silencing, gene editing, none of these things are good, bro. None of these things is good. Frequency is already in place. This is a fact. This is a fact. And we're watching it being done, right? But you know, they, like I said, they got their, forget about YouTube, right? It's just everyone has a podcast now, but no one's talking about anything, right? Everyone kind of waits to see what the next person is going to talk about, and if that particular thing takes off in the algorithm, that's what they all start talking about. So if it's really Dr. Umar, I mean, every day you're going to talk about how he's losing the school. Every day? But they're going to drain this, right? Because, and this is how YouTube starts to train you. This is how these social media platforms start to train you. So now they got you over here focusing on that and not watching what's going on, which was the whole plan all along. So I'm at a stage in life where I'm just taking things very slow. Thank God for some people who, you know, there is still information that comes out, right? We haven't gotten to that point yet. So for me to even have heard about this story and then decided to look into it, it's not like I did it because I thought I was going to get a lot of views. I don't do none of these shows because I think that they're going to get a lot of views. I just do these type of shows because I think that that's what the Poker Face Society is supposed to be talking about. Do remember to go and download Beyond You TV on your Android or your iPhone or Roku television. Beyond You TV. It's pretty much, we're going to build it up to where anything that you want to watch is pretty much on there for, right now it's free, but it will be $1.99 soon. But nonetheless, which would you rather pay, $1.99, or would you want to pay all these separate fees, $24 here, $14 here, $7.99 here? We're going to have all the shows anyway that's on all of these platforms, so you might as well just pay the $1.99. But that's coming in October. For right now, you can just continue to download and watch the shows, right, as we continue to beef up the inventory. I do believe Naked Gun was up this weekend. Some other things I do believe got put up this weekend. The new Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. And yeah, I think that's about it. The decade agreed. I mean, here's my final thoughts as I get out of here. I believe this, I mean, you got to think, this planet has been here billions of years, right? We've come across things that we can't even explain. The pyramids and stuff like this. I still think we're a primitive people, right? We obviously have not figured out, we're just figuring out what the pyramids was, really, right? And not that people who have access to these locations haven't figured it out, but that's who we're dealing with. We're dealing with a people who don't want the regular people to know nothing, right? So who's to say that 500,000 years ago life wasn't different on this planet, right? Everyone knew everything. It could have been totally different. However, I kind of like don't believe that, because I don't think the Bible would have referenced the same things that was happening then is happening now. The people they tried to actually build a tower to a portal in the sky called the heavens, right? And the Bible says that they would have did it, because that's what they put their mind to, right? The only way that these superior people that you guys call the gods, or that they call the gods in the Bible, only way I think when that God, particular God in the Bible, I think his name was Yahweh at that time too, said that, he must have been referencing that when he said, because they can't be stopped because they are of one mind, right? And anything they set their mind to, they will do. Well, he must have been talking about the ability to manifest reality based off of the grid that we call this electromagnetic grid down here, whether we want to call it the ether or whatever you want, right? There's different names for it. Nonetheless, that's the science they really don't want us to know. And some people have figured it out. So this is why the Bible also says the blessings fall on the just as well as the unjust. Some people figured it out, and they're not good people. Some people who figured it out are not good people. So don't think that everybody that has a conversation about frequencies and the esoteric knowledge is a good person. No. Some people just understand the science or the reality of it, and they're going to use it the way they want to use it, which is happening right now. This is a strange dimension. I'm still reading the 1900 or the Last President. It's literally, the book is called 1900 or the Last President. That's what it's called if you haven't looked it up yet. And it's a children's series, but one of the child's nickname is called Baron Trump. And it definitely makes me believe in time travel. Well, I already believed in time travel anyway. But this book is hard not to believe in time travel. Read the book. All I know is it's probably that part too. Maybe. You got different people down here fighting for different things. Anyway, the more you know, right? The more you know. We leaving anyway, this guy. We leaving anyway. Mobile says, yes, Baron Trump. Heard someone tie that into having Teslas. Yes, I heard that too, Mobile. I'm doing the research right now, Mobile. I'm doing the research. It's blowing my mind as I'm doing it, and I'm like, holy smokes. I'm telling you, the more you dive into this thing, it's like time travel exists. And we're in a dimension right now where someone has come back and straight up manipulated. Several people have come back to this time period in this dimension. And this dimension is effed. Can't put it no other way. It's just effed. But this is the dimension I'm in. So, and to be quite honest, I remember one time a lady said, "Oh, you are like a master level," and I had to stop her, and I said, "No, I'm not master level." You know why she said that? She actually had like a following, like a store and all of this other stuff. So when I came there to build with her, she realized I may even know more than her. But she was the one with the store and the following and all of this other stuff. So you got a lot of people who would just jump out here and start making money off a little bit of knowledge they got. Right? I don't consider myself, I'm still learning. It's like the more I learn is the more I understand the more how much I didn't know. Which is crazy because then you see some people out here, they straight up Neanderthal with it, right? I'm watching people on YouTube with hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers, and their mind frame is straight up Neanderthal. But that tells you right there, the majority of the people, they tap into that. That's their frequency. That's what they understand comfortably, right? They don't understand what I'm talking about. It's foreign to them. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You sound crazy. They want things simplified. So The Walking Dead is already here then. The Walking Dead is already here. They just need to make it official at this point. Yes, Mobile. This guy says, how you think they scrubbed it? Scrub it. I think all you guys are right. You know what's crazy? I think I'm still going to write the book. But I came up with a book that I haven't started writing it. I just have the framework. And it's called How to Get Back to Your Intended Dimension. And what I think is that every decision you make will determine what dimension you actually end up in. Every decision. And the more you make decisions that don't synchronize with the frequencies for which we call success down here, you will end up in somewhere that you would probably compare to hell. You will. I'm not watching all of these zombie addicts cross my truck because these people made all the right decisions in life. No. And I'm not watching them pass because they made one bad decision in life. No. This was a repetitive thing. Now, some of these women I'm seeing passing my truck could have been somebody's housewife, easy. But how do you get back to your intended dimension? Before the wormhole is closed and you can't go back. And now you can't leave. I think it has something to do, obviously, with frequency, but you don't want to, I don't even want to talk on that like it's all about frequency. When I say frequency, right, I'm also talking about the geometric patterns of frequency, right? So we've all seen the videos when they put the sand on the plate and then they change the frequency and then they make these geometric shapes. Obviously, that's not an accident. They're not making these exact mathematical shapes by accident. That means that these frequencies have a purpose down here in our existence, right? And because everything vibrates and everything is energy, everything, then we know that the representation of these things must have a geometric pattern. Which goes back to a frequency. So when I say frequency, that's what I mean. It has a geometric pattern. And life is pattern, right? We even see that in the repetition of the seasons. As the world turns 360 degrees while revolving around the sun. So, the first thing is to recognize that patterns is necessary. Now, down here on this planet, they seem to have turned that pattern into what we call a religion, which I don't know the significance because the Latin word means to rebind. So I don't know. To rebind to what? What I know is the repetitious part is important for religion. But what I also know is they're not teaching you the right thing or the truth in these religions. If anything, the Hindus tell more of the truth. Not to say that they tell more of the truth because they're right, but I say they tell more of the truth because that was what was recorded, right? It's not like they're telling you this so that they could control you one day like Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. Those religions got caught up in competitive nature. It's just all of them was needed competitively because of the geographic, political time periods. All of it had to do with why those religions were created. But when you get into the, you go back to the ancient religions, this is just pretty much documented history of what happened. It sounds crazy though, right? When you read the Mahabharata, it sounds nuts. Wars in the sky, advanced technology. It sounds crazy to some. It don't sound crazy to me. Wayne P was good. He said, I just heard Trump is done. What is going on? What? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. You understand? Look what happened to Joe Biden. Joe Biden was a young, vital being. And then, as soon as he got in office, he got swapped out for some type of robot. I don't know what that was that just left. It was crazy. They said he had some type of dementia. I don't know. Who says that it was even Joe Biden? That was wild. He was malfunctioning all over the place. So, I don't think Trump is that powerful. You understand? He's not that powerful to be calling shots and saying what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. That's what I know. He's going to do what he's told. I don't know if any of these political presidents that they put in front of us are that powerful to go against the machine. And the machine says Skynet is on its way. Skynet is here. So what do? They still shooting up schools on purpose to make us feel like, and it's working, right? I got family members talking about, why do civilians need semi-automatic weapons? What? You fell for that? You fell for that. Well, I just don't understand why a regular person needs a semi-automatic weapon anyway. Well, you might understand one day when your enemy has a semi-automatic weapon or an automatic weapon and you out here with a Dillinger. You out here with a musket. Then you're gonna you out here with the gunpowder in the ball. One shotter. Keep it up. Keep it up. Asking stupid questions. And most of these are women. You understand? I don't know. Women just think shit is supposed to fucking happen on this planet. Like, they don't. It's just like, well, this is the way it should be. Well, it's not that fucking way. Fucking naiveness will get people killed, bro. Yeah, you out here with the stuff. You out here with the fucking duct tape snub nose special. Fire. Yeah, all right. Keep it up. Keep it up. You're going to find out real soon why they wanted your guns. I can tell you that. And your choices to submit, universal basic income, right? You can submit and go be part of the program. And don't think the program is going to be all good. Program will be bare minimum. But if you're in the opposition, right? And most people, they're going to submit. They're going to say, hey, it's a good thing. We're being taken. I don't understand the problem. We're being taken care of. We got Wi-Fi. Yo. Let me tell you something. When you realize it's run just like a fucking jail. First, it's going to be a pretty jail. It's going to be a pretty whatever situation, whether it's a smart city, whatever it is. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen and what's going to happen. Say you get a brand new smart city and someone is delegated to run that smart city, like a fucking mayor or whatever, right? When they realize, like, it's just a containment, right? They're going to give nepotism to some. All of a sudden, you're going to have people living like lords. And then you're going to have everyone that's not part of that popular group is going to be treated like shit, right? But then the people that are treated like shit, they're going to start their own popular group. Nothing's going to change. The only thing that's going to change is going to get worse, but it's going to be contained inside of a smart city, right? So you won't even be able to leave your city. Trust me. Not with what they got coming with gene therapy and all that other shit. What I just explained to you. Even if you got away, you didn't get away. They'll shut your silly ass down from the inside of your body. Just shut your silly ass down. And now you don't have the ability to breathe. How about that? And they found you right on Route 66 somewhere. Trying to be slick getting outside your fucking city. So the joke's on you. That's where shit is going. Every time, and we've been saying this, and they kept on saying this conspiracy theory, and then they burned down fucking old LA, then they burned down Maui, and no, it's conspiracy theories, conspiracy theories, conspiracy theories, and then they building up fucking smart cities as they're saying it's conspiracy theories. Keep it up. Keep it up. How you gonna protect yourself? You out here with a fucking 6-shot snub nose. Keep it up. They're not trying to take your guns for no fucking reason. And the reason they keep, it's always a fucking white guy, because black people kill themselves every day. So they can't use the fucking black guy as we need to change the laws, because they've been shitting on black people for so long. No one gives a fuck if black people shoot each other. Like, they don't give a fuck. So you're not about to use that unless you use a white guy who goes into a church and shoots black decent folk. Oh. Well, why was this allowed to happen? Why do we need these guns? Is that easy to get to fucking trick you? You not pay, you that docile, you not paying fucking attention? They only shoot white people, kids, and old decent black folks, and it's always some fucking deranged white boy. Fair-skinned, transgender boy, whatever you want to say. Oh, these kids on there, depressing. Listen, this is an old fucking play. If they had the audacity to kill 3,000 people and 9/11, surely, and not that your name is Shirley, but surely they don't give a shit about your children at some mall, school, movie theater, none of it. These people, they don't give a shit. It's all part to get the agenda. Listen, they shot up their own fucking soldiers. They watching the USS Liberty, a country they just gave fucking independence, had the audacity to kill U.S. citizens and said, oh, it was a mistake, my bad. And you sitting here questioning whether they would kill your stupid ass fucking kids that get on everybody's nerves anyway? Only you think your kids are cute. They're fucking annoying. Funguli. You're fucking annoying ass kids. I wouldn't go to the measures of fucking killing them, but only you think your children are cute. Your fucking kids are annoying, alright? And everybody talks about your parenting skills because just we have so many fucking questions. You jackass kids. I'm not going to take it to the point of killing your kids. But I just want you to know how little they give a shit about your kids. You think they would do that? I watch people jump from the fucking World Trade Center because they had no other choice. And I know for a fact we had something to do with that shit. So, yeah, I do. To answer your fucking question, yes. Shout out to Alex Jones. Didn't mean to go on that rant. And actually, I probably want to lay it down. I don't know what Labor Day is about. I don't. Me and my daughter was talking about it. She tried to troll me for not being there. I love my daughter. She may be annoying to you guys. I'm just saying, I love her. So fucking smart, and she's so funny. She can get on your nerves with the fucking funny shit. She doesn't know when to stop at. She's at the age where she doesn't know when to turn your shit off. But she tries to troll me. Oh, you're not even going to be around for Labor Day. I said, what the fuck is Labor Day? You tell me what's Labor Day. She just starts smiling, right? I said, you don't even know what Labor Day is. What is one of your favorite holidays? You don't know what that holiday is for. I don't even know what it's for. She laughs. Because she's trolling me. I don't know what this fucking Labor Day is for. I know I'll be doing labor on Labor Day. I know that. Yeah, Uncle Andy. Yeah. Well, thank God she has both of us, right? And what I find is, women that's raised by their mom only, not good. It's supposed to be a balance, just like boys that's just raised by their moms only. There's supposed to be a balance there on purpose. But you get these people down here that run the world, spiritual wickedness in high places, that purposely break up the family. I'm telling you. This simulation right here is the worst design I've ever seen. It's just gobbledygook programming in this simulation right now. It's fucking bullshit. And you know what makes it real bullshit? Not the fact that obviously some people have come to have traveled back and decided to fuck up this dimension, right? Obviously. That's not what makes it so annoying. What makes it annoying is the fucking idiots who can't see the writing on the wall. I mean, there's so much sinister shit going on, and you could just be like, yo, what the like, what's that, right? And people are like, what? Let's go Democrats. Let's go Republicans. The fuck are you talking about? There's some sinister shit going on where they are tearing the world down. Oh, that's conspiracy theories. What? This guy tried to block the sun. Like, the most craziest shit is going on. They're putting vaccines in foods. And they want to do it without anyone's permission. And then you look online, and then the conversations that are being had is just like so immature and elementary and so far off your thought process. It's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about right now? Am I alone? And this is why I come over here and vent on the Poker Face Society, because it's crazy out there. Right? I'm a young black man from the city. I've done city shit, right? I'm very hip-hop. I should be talking about fucking Young Thug being a snitch right now. Because that's what all the hip-hop black folks are talking about right now, the men. Which is crazy. This is how you know they'll be slaves again. This is how you know they'll end up slaves again. I don't want to hear shit this time. Right? One time, shame on them. Twice, shame on you. And you will be a slave again. Mandatory. You don't take shit serious. Yeah. It's gonna happen again. Don't get me wrong. Everybody will be put into these smart cities where it's just gonna be bad. But I got a feeling black people, you will end up slaves again. Not because of your skin color, just because you're doing docile shit. You're not taking shit seriously. Ever. Right? You're out here making up new dances while we're fucking going to... shit is going to hell. You out here inventing new dances as if that's the move. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. Anyway, stay vigilant. Pay attention to what's going on out here. There's still some opportunity for you to bust a move. I don't know what that move is going to be, right? So I think you will have the opportunity to be a part of a category. What that category is, I can't say what that category is going to be yet. Some people will have an opportunity to be in a category and choose what category that be. Some people won't, right? If you have not shown any signs that you're able to be trusted in this society of Lord of the Flies, then you're your freedoms will be taken with no fucking problem. I mean, I don't even know how you don't even see that. Right? Your freedom so far has been taken with no fucking problem. Imagine what's going to come down the pipeline. They're going to be taken even faster and easier. And the options are going to be fewer, right? It's not like there's going to be a lot of work out here for everybody anyway. So it's like it's going to be real short-witted. Like either you have the ability or you have showed signs thus far where you don't have to be forced into a category. And let me tell you something right now. Fuck that place. Wherever they just put you in that category, like I know we're calling it's going to be like a jail, but now that's going to be like a fucking jail. So all you people that's giving shout outs to people who did time in jail and bigging that shit up, good luck with that. If you like it, I love it for you. But fuck that place. I'm telling you right now. That's going to be a horrible place, Jack. A horrible place. So I do think it's going to be tiered. And I just try my best to keep me and mine out of that tier right there. Actually, I'm still trying to get in Space Force. But the amount of positions have dwindled in Space Force. They're like all over the fucking place, but nowhere at the same time. But I'm still looking. I'm still looking. On God, if Space Force offered me something today, I'm taking it. Trying to lock down me and my fam, make sure we got presentable quarters and everything. That we're good. Don't worry, you know. Yeah. Mayhem is inconceivable. But Mayhem, I don't know. They don't see it. You know why? Because they walking us down, this guy. They walking us down real slow. That's all they doing. They walking us down. And every 4 years, they may switch. Every 4 to 8 years, they may switch to the other side, right? To make it seem like the other side is winning now. And they still walking us down. They still walking us down. So now we're going to talk about that for 4 years. Then they going to do another one. Then that side going to feel like they won. Whole time they was leading us to the slaughterhouse the whole time. None of us was winning. It was a walk down. So it's like the lobster. We don't even know we being boiled or fucking live, bro. We acting like it's all good. Like we like this shade of red on our body. We are being boiled alive. But slowly. So we don't recognize it. Right? Look. You wake up, you walk outside, everybody's fucking obese. That is the definition. That's the epitome of when I say boiled alive, right there. Right? So, out here, today I ate string beans. Today I did. But out here on the road, you gotta be very conscious of what you eat. Because you'll wake up 300 pounds easy. Easy. Right? Now, where I'm from, if you ain't never had no good meal all week, you're going to at least make sure you eat good on Sunday. That's just culture where I'm from. I don't care how you ate all week. Sunday, make sure you eat good. Eating good in my culture, you have to have some vegetables on your plate. So as I try to scrimp and scrap from these places that's available out here, it's like they took vegetables off all the menus. Well, today I ate Golden Corral. So I had string beans. But my point is, there was a point in time that a lot of these chicken spots, right? Even the fast food ones, they had greens. And not one chicken spot got greens. No greens. They replaced all the greens with starches. There's unnecessary chemicals in all the food, all the cereals, everything. And everybody's either overweight or suffering from a chronic disease or inflammation of some sort. Well, that goes to my point with being slowly boiled alive, right? We eat these candies with all these dyes in it, right? It slowly gives you cancer. Not fast like the vaccine. Vaccine allegedly gave people cancer so fast that they called it a turbo cancer. Never heard of it before in my life, right? But it all goes back to what I'm telling you, being boiled alive. You can't trust a freaking solution without making you sick. You can't trust your food without making you sick. This is not a place I would want to leave children down here. It's not. It's just not. My daughter's in 8th grade. We talk about her experience, her day, every day. Every day we talk about her experience in school. We're so confused in my house. We're so confused. Last week, my daughter, her first week of school, she didn't learn any math. She said she was coloring. I said, in math class? So I said, okay, maybe this is because it was a 4-day school week, first week, get amalgamated with the culture. I was a teacher before, so it's kind of like the first week, 2 weeks, they kind of focus on just procedure, and the teacher focuses on getting control of their classroom. That's what you should be doing. But as a math teacher, I don't know if taking it so light that you're just having an 8th grader color, right? But I think this is by design. They honestly want stupid kids. Kush was good. You still here? Kush, are we here? Kush was here like an hour ago. Would you leave, Kush? See if I can find these. Kush gave me some glasses. Oh, yeah. These are the joints. Kush gave me these bad boys right here. Shout out to Kush and Pretty Divine. They honestly don't want our children to be smart, intelligent, So it's all crazy, man. This is just as crazy as choosing a CDC director that's not has no background, any medical background. Like, what is going on? They changed the curriculum around so that our children get frustrated in computation and basically give up. And then when even if they understand, whether you don't understand, you're going to the next grade. Right? It don't really fucking matter. We're just going to push you out this bitch. Then they get out there and they are not qualified for a goddamn thing. And then life starts to happen. And then life starts to happen immediately. Right? It's wild, bro. This is fucking wild. Oh, God. This guy said there's cops out there that don't know the law. That the requirements to become a officer of the law is a fucking joke. The requirements to become an officer of the law is a fucking joke. What's more of a joke, though, is internal affairs. Because there's a cultural divide. Once you're in justice, the cultural divide is thick. It's us against them, right? So the same way people out here say fuck the police, the police don't have to say fuck you. Just, I mean, the culture says it by itself. And I say the culture because more or less there are decent cops. There are some. I've met some. I know some. So I don't say all cops. I say the culture because it's the culture that needs to be addressed. You get people like Patrick Lynch out of fucking New York. He's not good for the fucking culture, right? He's part of the reason that there's an us against them mentality now. That's the only time you hear about that guy. He's not going to take advantage of a situation that could really mend the community together and have better community relations between police officers and the neighborhood. Nah, he don't give a shit about that. But these people are there by design. He's not there by accident. They don't want sensible thinking people. They want fucking attack dogs everywhere, man. Anyway, I'm leaving now. Probably gonna read some more or watch. I was watching Gaia earlier. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What I do know is my Cash App is the Prophet Saladin. TheProphetSaladin. That's my Cash App. That's what I do know for a fact. I don't know when I'm gonna be back, but the chances of me coming back talking about sacred geometry is high. It's high. I've already started some of the conversation last week when we spoke about the electromagnetic grid. We started talking about patterns of frequencies, this, that, and the third. Thank you, Uncle Andy. Thank you. My Cash App is down there. We started talking about some of these things, and we will. I think it's important for us to know this, right? And I'm going to be repetitive about certain things, especially Genesis 11. Genesis 11. Because I'm well aware who we're fighting against, and I just want you to know what we're up against. And I don't... Wait. Is these fucking... Get the fuck out of here. They're back. Is that a kid in the stroller? Yo. America is fucked. Are they gonna knock on my door? Bro, I don't think they have a truck here. They're walking around like a family, but I think it's a black guy pimping a white lady, and they got somebody's fucking kid in a stroller. This is more or less one of the most fucked up states I've probably been to. Cities, anyway. Homelessness is rampant here. Prostitution is high. Shit is crazy. I would not want to live here. Nope. I live in the mountains. That's where I want to stay. I buy my eggs from a lady down the street. Yep. I live in the mountains, and that's where I want to stay, Jack. No bullshit. However, let me tell you this before I go, for like the 10th time. If you have the ability and to live in like hot areas like the desert, there's a lot of real estate out here for you, right? There's a lot of opportunity to live. I don't know about opportunity to work. I don't know how you're going to make money. I don't. But Nevada's wide open. People are wild. People walk right through the fucking truck. I don't know. When I was trained don't never walk through these trucks. So to this day, I don't walk through trucks. In the parking lot. I walk around. Yeah. I never said where I was. But what I do know is every state so far has been pretty fucked up. I went to San Francisco. I don't know what I thought. I thought San Francisco was... I don't know. You hear all of this shit about San Francisco? San Francisco was the pits. Was the pits. And they got a smog problem. Now I understand why California be so concerned about fucking smog. You want to see some smog, Jack? Suppose you don't know what smog is, right? Because you're like, what the fuck is smog? Is that like fog and smoke? Yes. That's exactly what it is. It is smoke and fog put together. And that shit is static over the city of San Francisco. That's exactly what it is. I said, who the fuck would live here? We don't have smog where I'm from. Crazy. So here's the thing. As I go for the 12th time, I gotta go. But I don't want you to think because every time I do a show that I'm just mentioning the worst things about life. No, enjoy life. There's obvious things to enjoy, right? But I can't tell you what to enjoy. The small things. Fuck it. Have a cup of tea with a friend. Laugh. Tell a joke. Enjoy the life, right? I just think when we overcompensate and try to push for a good time, even though it becomes unbalanced, right? We just want everything. We want a good time all the time. And it's like, all right, now you're not focusing on the fact of serious shit that's going down, right? But it has to be balanced. I think you should have love in your life. I think you should have happiness. You should experience some good times, right? Sex and love is not the same thing. I'm sure there's people out here getting sex and have no fucking love in their life. None. But they're getting sex on a regular. Nobody loves them. Yeah, Flint water. Flint water has not even been rectified. That's the crazy shit. People are still donating fucking clean water to fucking Flint. Still. Bananas. Bananas. So, as me and this guy leave for the 25th time during this show, right? He's been saying he's going to leave for a fucking hour now, this guy. He's out of here. I'm out of here for real this time. I've been saying as I leave for fucking 45 minutes. As I leave. As I go. At least you are aware, right? At least I did a show where you're aware that something is not right. It doesn't make sense that a scientific a scientist, a doctor of medicine, is being removed from the CDC so that an imposter, an infidel, a do-boy for Peter Thiel is put in the position. I don't know what they got planned, but it can't be good. Right? So shout out to Susan. May she bounce back. I don't know. I know we need her in there, but Trump is doing some silly shit right now. I don't know what he's doing. It kind of undermines everything that fucking RFK is doing. So he's kind of cutting RFK off at the fucking knees, to be honest with you. Because the CDC is the gold standard for when it comes to what we're going to do and the recommendations. It's going to be the CDC. It's not going to be RFK. And I can tell you right now who's really going to be in charge, and that's going to be Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and the technocrats. Obviously. So let me go finish the rest of my dinner because I didn't eat it all. And I'm going to holler at y'all later. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. But we will be talking about sacred geometry. All right? Peace out.